Hi there, I'm Matt Pepper. I work in the global office of the field CTO. First of all, we're going to start building paper aeroplanes. I think it's great fun. It's a good thing to do with your team. Build a paper aeroplane, give them 2 minutes and see how creative people can get. Then wheel in a target and get everyone to try and aim at that target. If you're like me, you're not very good at paper aeroplanes, so you don't hit the target. If, however, you knew there was a target and the concept of a paper aeroplane wasn't in your head, you'd screwed it into a ball and just throw it at the target. Why am I telling you this? Because we focus so much on the tool and not on the outcome. So everyone keeps building smart walkthroughs and smart tips and AI and forget about the actual business objective. And that's the key thing. Leaders don't fund tools. Leaders fund outcomes. So why do business cases or business objectives fail? There are 3 areas that I'll just focus on, but there are many more. Number 1 is lack of strategic alignment. We're going to look at that one in particular, but 66% of executives just reject business cases because they don't align to the company goals. Next one is over complexity or poor storytelling. 45% of senior leaders just don't read the business cases because they're just not interesting enough. And the third one, unclear ROI and value realization. 57% of CFOs cite insufficient demonstration of ROI. All 3 of these are very high percentages, and that's why all these business cases often fail. So how can WalkMe help you, or how can you help yourselves? So these are the 3 areas that we're going to look into. Why? So how can we frame these things? Why are we going to do this? Where are we going to do these areas? And how? How are we actually going to produce those things? You've already heard from other teams the 4 Ps. That's a very simple value framework. It helps you define all of those areas. Grab your cameras, scan the QR code. You can have a look at the simple downloadable value framework and the strategy for this. It's a simple thing to look at. It will help start the conversation with you. You may have something within your own companies for it, but it's just a really simple tick box. So here is the breakdown of those 4 Ps: the problem, the possible, the probable, and the provable. But how can we then look at particular assets within each of those 4 things? So we're going to look at strategic alignment, blueprinting, and customer workshops. In the art of possible, there are workflows and benchmarking. In the probable, there are business case and the justification within it. And more importantly, post go live, the provable. How can you make those things actually be measurable and defined ongoing? So let's go through an example. How can you align to company strategy? So I've created a fantastic little story with a dummy company. So this is noodle.com. Yes, that is my puppy. It's a CPG focusing on things like dog chews and toys, and is going through a huge digital transformation area since bursting onto the market about 4 years ago. So how can we now look and map to those business things? You can look at the corporate objectives. You can look at the company report. Any of those things, if you're in your own company, you'll get more detail of those. So here are the 4 that I've created for this scenario. So there's accelerate digital and omni-channel growth, innovative core product portfolio, maintaining strong execution and financial discipline, or building a high-performance, future-ready culture. And this is how we're going to map that information into what's called a vision map. WalkMe would help to map to actual tangible benefits. This can be done before you're a customer or as you're growing as a customer with the help of the customer success team and the field CTO. So this is one specific area which is on cash and control. We're looking at what the actual objective is, what those challenges are, how we map to WalkMe's value drivers, which we'll come to in a moment. You will have your own value drivers. That's something that we need to look and map to. What good looks like, what's that positive business outcome? And right at the end, how are you actually going to measure that? So to those value drivers, so we have 7. Most things fit into one or multiples of these. You don't have to tick all 7 of them. You just hit 1 or 2 of them where you are for that journey. You will go through different transformations and growth through your journey with WalkMe and through your deployments of your systems. Once again, you may have 2 or 3, but these are the ones that we will use internally to help map and benchmark all of our customers. To go down to that next level, so now you know roughly what areas, you may not be an expert within an invoicing area, you can use the workflow catalog, which is within your console, to look at the use cases. So underneath all of that, for the builders, there are things that they could download, but we're just looking at the business cases or the use cases that help within those sections. Each one of those has a 4 Ps. So you can have a look at some of the common business problems, what possible outcomes could be done, and the probable, as well as the, if we have got benchmarks, some provable statistics. Here are the 9 most common scenarios that our customers tend to see. They go through an initial stage, let's call it year 1, where they look at things like training reduction, improving end user efficiency and process improvement. Then they will look at scaling and improving that area. So they might add extra applications. That could be document automation, most likely change management. It's one of our biggest areas that people look at. And also cross-application automation. This is a massive area where we're seeing a lot of interest at the moment. We're getting into huge different departments where we're trying to reduce the process across all of these applications. And then finally, the third one, transformational value. So transformational value is when you're actually turning from a little caterpillar into a butterfly. Therefore, you're doing things like compliance, doing something that is actually reducing real massive pain points within the company. Self-service, true self-service, not just here you go, this is a little script to follow. Being able to do things on their own without having to raise tickets, but much more than that. And for the bigger areas, supporting revenue generation. That's not just external portals, but actually generating revenue by being creative and improving processes. So once you've done all of those things, you really need to demonstrate how you're going to do these. And this is what we call blueprinting. So based upon the scenarios and use cases you've got, you're saying what the initiative is, what those challenges are, what you could do or what you could build, and then suggested KPIs to measure it. You can then move those around based upon key priorities or what your executives are looking at. This is the same even if you're an existing customer and you've got multiple initiatives, you can move those around and look at that from an intake perspective too. Onto the probable. So when people say business case, they just think business cases are some numbers and some calculations and some ROI. Everything that we've just said up till now is the business case. If you need some numbers to help justify it at the beginning, we have multiple things within WalkMe, but externally we have a value calculator. So you can search online for the WalkMe value calculator, input a few numbers based on users, what departments you want to look at, and have a very, very high level business case within a few minutes. Pretty simple. It's not going to be very detailed for you, but it might help you engage other areas to say, these are the things we want to look at. Then you can talk to your account team, whether that's your sales executive or it is part of your customer success group, to then dig into further areas. And onto the provable. The provable is not just a simple ROI. You need to identify and understand what the value is. And when we say value, this is different for many, many people. So you need to understand, as the executives, what the currency of value is. Is that a dollar value or a euro value, or is it nothing to do with financial numbers at all? Is it time saving? Is it happier employees? All of these things could be the answer at the same time. So those are things that you need to accommodate when you are looking at proving value. Every different department or every different system, or even those different levels, they will look for different things based upon the company objectives. One of the key areas that we can help out with are value stories, which turn an ROI into something more tangible. Let's call it the elevator pitch for a particular scenario, where we can help you identify that business issue and then quantify it in whatever way you choose to. This is something that my team excels at, but we work very closely with the customer as well as with the customer success team to help define these things so you have a huge pack of value stories that justify the expansion you're looking for. And that's a wrap. Thank you very much for attending, and I hope to see you all soon.